Hello, and welcome. I'm so happy you've joined us tonight. This is your moment to let the world soften around you, to feel the quiet settle in like twilight over cobblestone streets. Tonight, we'll step into a candlelit room where time slows, where ink flows like whispered secrets onto parchment, and where the air hums with the quiet magic of creation. It's a place of flickering shadows, of words taking shape in the stillness, of a single flame holding back the night as a great mind gives voice to thoughts that will echo through centuries. All you need to do is breathe, slow and steady, and let yourself drift into this hushed world where stories are born. And when you're ready, we'll begin, just as the quill touches the page. The quill trembles slightly in weathered fingers as candlelight dances across parchment, casting long shadows that seem to breathe with the rhythm of contemplation. In a modest chamber above the bustling streets of London, where the Thames whispers its ancient secrets to the night, a solitary figure hunches over his writing desk, lost in the labyrinth of words that flow like honey from his pen. The year is 1601, and the world sleeps beneath a tapestry of stars that have witnessed countless human stories unfold. But tonight, in this small sanctuary of flickering light, something extraordinary stirs in the mind of William Shakespeare, a soliloquy that will echo through centuries, carrying the weight of human longing and the ache of existence itself. The candle burns steadily, its flame a golden teardrop suspended in the darkness, illuminating the gentle curve of his brow as he pauses, searching for words that dance just beyond his reach. The wax pools slowly at the base, forming delicate rivulets that catch the light like miniature streams flowing towards some distant, unknowable shore. Outside his window, London rests in the embrace of midnight. The cobblestones below glisten with evening dew, and the timber-framed houses lean against each other like old friends sharing whispered confidences. A cat picks its way delicately across the narrow street, pausing to look up at the window where the playwright works, as if sensing the magic being born in the chamber above. Shakespeare dips his quill once more, the ink dark as a moonless night, rich as the dreams that visit him in the small hours when inspiration flows freely. His hand moves across the page with practiced grace, each letter forming part of a greater symphony of language that will touch souls he will never meet, in times he will never see. To be or not to be, he murmurs, the words emerging like a prayer into the hushed stillness of the room. The phrase hangs in the air, suspended between question and revelation, between the mortal weight of doubt and the eternal reach of understanding. The candle gutters slightly, sending shadows racing across the walls where shelves of books stand sentinel, volumes of poetry, philosophy, and ancient wisdom that have nourished his imagination through countless nights like this one. The leather bindings seem to pulse gently in the wavering light, as if the stories within are stirring, recognizing a kindred spirit being born on the page before him. He sets down his quill and leans back in his chair, the wood creaking softly like an old ship settling into calm waters. Through the diamond-paned window, he can see the stars scattered across the velvet sky like seeds of light planted by some cosmic gardener. The constellation Perseus hangs directly overhead, and Shakespeare finds himself thinking of heroes and their struggles, of the choices that define a life and the dreams that transcend it. A gentle breeze stirs the curtains, carrying with it the scent of night-blooming honeysuckle from the garden below, and the faint aroma of bread baking in some distant kitchen where early-rising bakers begin their daily alchemy of flour and flame. The air is soft against his face, cool and sweet, reminding him of spring evenings in Stratford, where he learned to love the music of language beneath trees heavy with apple blossoms. The words come more freely now, flowing like a river that has found its course after tumbling down mountainsides of uncertainty. Each phrase builds upon the last, creating a meditation on existence that feels both deeply personal and universally true. That is the question, he writes, and in those simple words contains the echo of every soul who has ever stood at the crossroads between hope and despair. The candle flame leans slightly, as if drawn by an invisible current, casting his shadow large and wavering against the far wall. For a moment, it seems as though the shadow moves independently, gesturing toward the window where the stars continue their ancient dance. Shakespeare pauses in his writing to watch this shadow play, finding in it a metaphor for the very soliloquy taking shape beneath his pen, the interplay between light and darkness, being and non-being, the seen and the unseen. A church bell tolls the hour somewhere in the distance, its bronze voice rolling across the sleeping city like a gentle reminder of time's passage. But here in this candlelit sanctuary, time seems to move differently, more slowly, as if the act of creation has bent the very fabric of moments around itself. Each word written is both instantaneous and eternal, born in the flicker of inspiration, yet destined to outlive empires. Shakespeare thinks of his son Hamnet, taken too young by fever's cruel embrace, and feels the weight of loss press gently against his heart. Perhaps this soliloquy carries within it not just the philosophical musings of a fictional prince, but the very real ache of a father who has stared into the abyss of grief and emerged with questions that have no easy answers. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer, he continues, and the words seem to carry the accumulated wisdom of sorrow transformed into art. The candle burns lower now, but its light seems to grow warmer, more intimate, as if responding to the deepening emotion in the words flowing onto the parchment. Droplets of wax trace lazy paths down the taper's length, each one unique in its wandering course, like the choices that branch and divide throughout every human life. Outside, a nightingale begins its liquid song from somewhere in the garden below, its voice weaving through the darkness like silvered thread through velvet cloth. The melody rises and falls, trills and pauses, creating a perfect accompaniment to the rhythm of words being born. Shakespeare pauses to listen, his pen suspended above the page, as the bird's aria speaks of longing and beauty, of love that transcends the boundaries of day and night. The stars wheel slowly overhead, following their predetermined paths across the cosmic dome, while here in this small room, new stars are being born in the form of words that will illuminate minds for centuries to come. The playwright feels himself to be both instrument and artisan, channel and creator, allowing something larger than himself to flow through his conscious craft into enduring form. The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, he writes, and sees in his mind's eye the countless warriors, lovers, dreamers, and sufferers who have faced such volleys throughout history. The phrase tastes of salt spray and bitter herbs, of tears shed in solitude and courage summoned from unknown depths. It carries the weight of every battle fought not with swords but with the human heart against its own despair. The candle flame straightens again, burning with renewed vigor as if fed by the passion flowing through the writer's pen. The circle of light expands slightly, gathering more of the room into its warm embrace, illuminating the wooden crucifix on the wall, the small mirror that reflects the flame back upon itself, the wash basin with its simple pitcher, all the humble furnishings of a life dedicated to the alchemy of transforming experience into enduring beauty. A gentle fatigue begins to settle over Shakespeare's shoulders like a familiar cloak, but it is the sweet weariness that comes after meaningful labor, after words have found their proper home and thoughts have crystallized into forms that will outlast their creator's mortal frame. He feels the presence of future readers, like a warmth at his back, generations yet unborn, who will speak these words, feel their power, find in them some measure of comfort or understanding. The night air grows cooler, autumn asserting itself more firmly as the hours advance toward dawn. Somewhere in the distance, he can hear the soft lowing of cattle being led to early pasture, the creak of cartwheels on cobblestone, the first stirrings of a city beginning to wake. But these sounds seem to come from another world, separated from this candlelit sanctuary by the transparent walls of creative absorption. To take arms against a sea of troubles, the soliloquy continues to unfold, and Shakespeare sees in those words the image of Don Quixote tilting at windmills, of every human soul that has chosen action over resignation, hope over despair. The metaphor carries within it both the nobility of the attempt and the futility that makes such nobility all the more precious. The stars begin to fade as the eastern horizon shows the first pale suggestions of dawn. The constellation Perseus slides toward the west, yielding the sky to the approaching sun, but the light of inspiration continues to burn steady and bright in this small room where words are being woven into immortality. Shakespeare dips his quill one final time, completing the passage that has emerged like a flower blooming in the darkness of night. The soliloquy lies before him, complete and perfect, carrying within its elegant structure the fundamental questions that have haunted human consciousness since thought first turned inward upon itself. He sets down his pen and flexes his fingers, feeling the pleasant ache that comes after hours of careful work. The candle has burned down to a stub now, its flame smaller, but no less warm, no less faithful in its service to the creative act it has witnessed and illuminated. Rising from his chair, Shakespeare moves to the window and pushes it open wider, letting the cool pre-dawn air flow into the room like a blessing. The sky is beginning to lighten, deep blue giving way to the softer hues of approaching morning, and the first birds are starting to stir in the gardens below. The manuscript lies on the desk behind him, the ink still drying, the words still radiant with the energy of their creation. They seem to pulse gently with their own life, as if the act of writing has imbued them with something beyond mere language, with the very essence of human questioning, human longing, human courage in the face of the unknowable. As the candle finally gutters and dies, its last wisps of smoke curling upward like incense offered to the gods of poetry and truth, Shakespeare feels a deep satisfaction settle into his bones. He has served as midwife to something beautiful and enduring, has helped bring into the world words that will comfort the troubled, inspire the doubtful, and remind countless souls across the centuries that in our very questioning lies our greatness. The stars, though fading, continue to smile down upon the city, upon the small room where magic has occurred, upon the playwright who has added his voice to the eternal conversation between human hearts and the cosmos that contains them. In this gentle hour between night and day, between creation and rest, all is well, and the world turns onward carrying its new treasure of words toward whatever dawn awaits,